Good afternoon, and welcome to the Your Health radio and television program on the radio at AM 1240 KNRY, AMP's Cable Television Channel 24, and on the web at www.ampmedia.org. Join our rotating host and their informative guests live every Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock. The purpose of the Your Health radio and television program is to help get, make, and keep listeners and viewers like you healthy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, on with the program.
Welcome back to Your Health radio and television program. I'm Dr. David Morwood. I am a board-certified plastic surgeon, and I am so glad you could join us. Thank you so much for being here. And I am so delighted to have not only one, but two very beautiful, special, intelligent, articulate guests, Lily Hills and Karen Hudson. Lily and Karen, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Now, the topic for this first segment on Your Health program is stress reduction. And we all need to learn about that, don't we?
Oh, yes, we do, especially us women. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say especially, I was about to say especially us
Oh,
guys.
well, you know,
But that's
especially
okay.
all of us, I guess.
Especially all of us, right. But before we talk about the actual stress reduction, and I just heard a rumor you're working on a new book or about to release a new book, I want to talk about each of you and how you got to know each other and where you're from and how is it that you got this project together, et cetera, and some of your interests in working together. So I know you have projects. So Karen, let's start with you. Karen Hudson.
Yes.
Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area and went to school in Mountain View at St. Francis High School, where I met this lovely woman on the very first day of high school.
In high school?
In high
school. The two
school.
of you met in high school?
We were in gym class, PE, and she was in my row, and
It was Hills and Hudson.
Hills and Crackler. But,
Oh, right.
but my maiden name. But we made each other laugh almost instantly, and it was an instant connection.
Karen broke into a cheerleader routine, a hyperactive cheerleader routine.
I don't know what
she made me laugh until I cried, which is, you know, of course, we're getting into stress reduction. That's a big piece of it, is laughing hard.
So isn't it amazing, as kind of an aside, when you meet somebody that you're connected to, how it's like a magnet?
Oh, yeah.
The two magnets drawn to each other. And
Yeah.
I don't care if it's
No
two
doubt.
guys or two women or a
It's true.
guy and a gal. It's magnetic when you connect, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely, and there was no denying it. And for 4 years, we were just inseparable in high school, and then went our different ways for college. And I met my college sweetheart and married, and Lily had an entirely different experience and traveled around the world and jobs, and we were apart from each other geographically for quite a number of years. And it was when we reunited, and I had been married at the time for about 17 years and 2 children, and Lily was single at the time, and we started talking about really what makes for a joyous life. What is it that is that element that both of us seem to have, even though our lives were so different? What was it that created joy on a daily level? And we really began to investigate what that was with great passion, so that we could look at our own lives, because I looked at Lily's life and said, I don't know another single woman who is as joyous as Lily and lives as fully as she. And she saw the same in me in terms of my family life. So it was something that we really wanted to define and share with other women.
Well, I really want to find out more about that. But just before we get to that, I want to know a little bit more about Lily Hills. So the two of you met the first day in high school.
First day in high school.
And then Karen said that you traveled the world for a while?
I did.
So where'd you go?
I started out in the Virgin Islands at a Tony Robbins seminar. We were studying the relationship, the mind-body connection between staying healthy and happy. And we went all over. We went to India, and we went to Malaysia, and all over Europe, and it was a tremendous experience. But we were there to study, we were studying alternative forms of medicine as they relate to paralysis, because the partner I was traveling with was paralyzed from the waist down from something called foie allogenine syndrome. It was a congenital malformation, and he was paralyzed at 16. So we're studying the mind-body connection.
And so, okay, so let's fast forward, because I really want to get to our topic today, which is a fascinating topic to me, stress reduction. So when did the two of you decide to work together and do projects and write books together, et cetera?
Well, it's probably about 8 years ago that we really started in on this project.
We were on a walk down by the Golden Gate Bridge, and we were talking about how joyous we were and how happy we were to be where we were in our lives, having been through some significant struggles earlier on, but just feeling so happy and joyous. And we decided, well, you know what? We should get some of this stuff down. Let's write a book. So that was the original brainchild, is we're going to write a book, and this was 8 years ago. And then we started writing the book. And we were so excited to get the information out there, we said, you know, this is going to take us years. Maybe we should do seminars instead.
And the information literally inspired us to share with other women. So we started doing seminars up in San Francisco, where Lily was living at the time, and then also down here in Carmel, where I was. And the women loved the information. It was something that they needed very much in their life, to take some time to figure out why they weren't happy on a regular basis.
And why they were so stressed.
Yeah, why there was so much optional stress going on. So there was a woman who attended one of our seminars who worked for a local radio station and said, you two would make a great radio show. So that was the birth of the Goddess to Goddess Empower Hour. Inspirational information for women and the divine dudes who love them.
Oh, I love, you know, if I could just, you know, rub the magic lamp and a genie appears, I want to be a divine dude too.
You know,
so,
Dr. Morwood, you've asked and you've received.
Oh, isn't that
just
sweet?
like that.
Well done.
So tell me the name of the program again, the radio program.
The Goddess to Goddess Empower Hour.
Empower Hour. Boy, see, that's going in the journal. Empower Hour. Well, you know, we're going to run out of time, and I could go on talking to you all forever. But just tell me a little bit about the radio program, and then I want to talk about stress reduction, and then I want to talk about this book project you have going.
So the radio show was designed for any woman or man who was looking to decrease the stress in their life and increase the fun and the joy. So each week we'd have a guest on that would talk about some aspect of making your life more enjoyable.
Okay, well, my first question then is, can we define stress? Like, people talk about it. You can barely pick up a magazine or turn on the radio without hearing about stress. But what is stress? And isn't there some good stress that we consider challenging and rewarding when we, like, fix problems and come up with a solution? And then there's bad stress or undesirable stress. Isn't that true?
Well, interestingly enough, the body can't always differentiate between good stress and bad stress. So good stress meaning, oh, you have a project due and your adrenaline's going and you're pumping and you're burning the midnight oil and you're doing great in your job. Your body doesn't really know how to differentiate between that stress and running from a moving train. I mean, it's the same form of stress. It's just modern stress, which so many of us can relate to, can go on for days, you know, hours, days, or even weeks.
Or years.
Without even us knowing. It becomes more of a pattern of the way that we do things.
Well, I know, to take a page from my own life, in my professional life, I love a challenging case, an operation. Like when I'm challenged and I need to come up with some creative solution and really make it work and use my eyes and my head and my hands, that's fun. I mean, it's creative. But I know that other times in my life, if like time pressure, if there's 5 people asking me to do things at one time, that feels, I can tell that's bad stress, right? So are there some cues you can tell us, or is there a way that people can know if they're sort of under an undesirable stress?
Well, our feelings, which are the communication from our soul essentially, they tell us if it's bad stress because we're nervous, we're tense, our heart rate's escalating, we're getting sweaty, and we're getting ahead of ourselves. Usually we're thinking about something in the future, right? Something bad that could go down. So I might miss that appointment, or I might forget to do that, or I won't complete that project. And so our body goes into a kind of a physical form of panic. You know, if I'm in traffic, that's one form of tension, right? And you'll feel it. Your whole body will respond. You won't feel good. That's how you know if it's bad stress. It feels bad. It's very different than an adrenaline rush where you're excited moving forward on a project. So making the distinction is what each of us needs to do, and slowing down allows us to do that.
Got it. Well, are there tactics and strategies that people can keep in mind if they feel bad stress or undesirable stress coming on?
We talk about in our book the process of, as Lily just mentioned, slowing down. That is a big, big component of relaxing. Because once you start slowing down, you can realize, okay, what do I need to do here? What I need to do is breathe. Breathing will always eliminate that anxious feeling in your stomach. Your body cannot continue feeling that angst when you're breathing deeply. So
it's almost like if you're running from the saber-toothed tiger, right? That's the thought in our mind. It goes back to our early heritage when stress would come and our body would respond to our fear and our tension by getting ready to take action. Right? So now what we're doing is when our body goes into stress, our mind's telling us that there's something bad that might happen. So in order to calm that part of our mind down, the deep breathing is what centers us and allows us to be present.
And that brings us into the present moment. And when you're in the present moment, which is a lot is being spoken of really being present to life. When you're in that place, the stress seems to sort of fall by the wayside because you know in this moment I'm safe and I'm protected and all is well. I'm not futuring about what might happen, what if. I'm absolutely present to where I am, and it literally, I can feel my body shift when I go there. So for me, the slowing down, breathing, and then consciously bringing myself to the present moment all adds to releasing that, what we refer to as optional stress, which most is optional.
Well, I have a theory that people feel maximum stress when either they're worried about what happened in the past or they're so anxious about what's happening in the future, and their concentration is not about what's happening right now. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So I want to hold up this copy of your book, or the title. I wonder if we can, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hold it up this way.
All right.
And I think we can do that. There we go. So let's read the title, can we?
It's A Feminine Manifesta. Love yourself more and make the world a better place.
Well, I love the title. So tell me about the book. So this is, I'm going to read that again. A Feminine Manifesta by Elizabeth Lilly Hills and Karen Hudson. Love yourself more and make the world a better place. Wow. So tell me, give me a summary of what's in the book.
Well, the Feminine Manifesta is, A Feminine Manifesta is about how, when we love ourselves more, when we generally appreciate ourselves more and we lighten up on ourselves, it reduces our stress levels and it brings out the very best in who we are. It brings out our kinder side, our more compassionate side, our more gentle side. And when we turn that feminine, we define that as the feminine part of who we are. The men have a feminine side and a masculine side, and we women have both a feminine and a masculine side. And when we're offering ourselves gentleness and compassion, everything in our life expands for the better. We've both been in the past hard taskmasters. We were hard on ourselves, hard on how our bodies looked, hard on what we were doing and so forth, comparing ourselves to other women, and that bought out our shadow side. It brought out the part of ourselves that was feeling insecure and immature.
And led to a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Because when you're feeling not good enough or not pretty enough or you're not doing enough, that little voice in your head, which many of us have and aren't even aware of it until we stop, slow down, and really think about what messages we're sending ourselves, that causes tremendous stress within the body because it is negativity and it's heaviness and just even the weight of the thoughts have an impact. So we suggest in the book to slow down, start being aware of your thoughts, just watching as if you're an observer, the thoughts that you're sharing with yourself every day. And from that point, really start knowing the fullness of who you are, your light side and your shadow, because all of us have every quality that's out there.
Everything.
Cutting yourself a break, going, yeah, I can be jealous, I can be catty,
Yeah.
I can
I'm
be
not
gossipy.
proud of it, but it's there.
You know, we're not perfect, and there's a lot of pressure, especially on women, to be perfect. There's some perfection model out there, I'm not sure how, whether through the media or movies or television, so we all receive it in different ways.
Or the supermom, the idea of being a supermom.
So it's about being aware of all of those things and accepting of all of who we are, and then moving into an act of appreciation and deep gratitude for the bodies that we have, for the minds that we have, for our kind hearts, really guiding women to see their gifts, because women, as all of us do, have tremendous gifts, but we're often so focused on what we're not doing and what we are not that we lose sight of the gifts that reside in each and every one of us.
Well, you know what that reminds me of? If I can jump ahead a little bit, I think one of the signs of a good relationship, and I don't care if it's professional or romantic or a family relationship, is if through that relationship one feels better about oneself as opposed to feeling bad about oneself or worse about oneself.
Absolutely.
I think that can really help distinguish between a good relationship and a bad relationship.
Absolutely, because when you're feeling terrific about who you are, that love and joy emanates to every relationship that you have.
And when I'm feeling badly about myself, it will bring out the side of me that's more impatient with others and more judgmental. And then when you go into those behaviors, you don't feel good about them, There may be some, if I'm judgmental, there may be a sense of righteousness or what have you. But it's not that good feeling where you're accepting of other people, you're accepting of yourself, and you're accepting of other people. It just holds a higher vibration. It makes you a happier person overall. And it's not a Pollyanna choice. Some people say, well, isn't that just not thinking about the whole picture? It's being discerning about your thoughts, because if your thoughts create your reality, why wouldn't I choose the kindest, wisest thoughts that I could? And the most loving thoughts always turn out to be the wisest.
So it sounds like, but Lily, you believe that we do have a choice.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Do you think we really have a choice, though, about our own thoughts, or do you think they're just spontaneous and we can't control them?
Oh, no. I think we can allow them to run the show if we don't keep it in check. Because once we become aware of our thoughts, then we can guide the thoughts, as Lily said, to the higher thought. Like, oh, there's a negative thought. Wow, that's not serving me. That makes me feel bad. Constantly reminding myself, that makes me feel bad. So the feelings are really what direct the feelings give us the idea of, oh, I'm not feeling good. What instigated that feeling? And it's typically a negative thought.
But I would agree that before you're aware of the constant mind chatter, before you're aware of your thoughts and you start observing them, they do rule you. And then they rule your mood. So there is something to, most of us aren't even aware of how we're thinking, so we're not a choice to change it. But once you become aware of how you're thinking, then you start to be able to choose more wisely.
Well, how does one become more, I guess I can use the phrase self-aware. I mean, how do you just become more aware of the thoughts that are going off in your head? Those aren't automatic. Is that what you're saying? You can actually become aware of them and affect them.
Well, you can impact them, yes. But some of them are automatic. I mean, some of them just pop up and they're there, but it's about noticing them in order to shift them.
And again, going back to what we were talking about earlier about slowing down. So many of us are so busy in this day and age where we're running from dropping the kids off to running errands to coming back and doing our computer work, whatever it is, and with computers making things so much faster than they ever were. We're running at 100 miles a minute.
It's true.
And so we're not even taking the time to slow down. Is when you start slowing down in everything that you do, and Lily and I are continually practicing this, whether it's eating or talking or driving, slowing down allows that awareness to come in. You see things that you don't normally see if you're running around.
Well, I just like how that sounds when I hear you say slow down and take a deep breath.
Doesn't it feel good?
I like that. You know, we only have a couple seconds left. I'm going to read the title, and then I want to let our audience know how they can get more information about your book that's upcoming, right?
Yes.
About to be released.
A couple of weeks away.
Well, A Feminine Manifesta, Love Yourself More and Make the World a Better Place by Elizabeth Lily Hills and Karen Hudson. So where can people get more information?
They can go to our website, which is afemininemanifesta.com.
afemininemanifesta.com. Elizabeth Hills and Karen Hudson. I tell you, I could just go on talking to you for hours.
Oh,
and I want to make a deal with you. I want you to come on my program and teach me how I can be a divine dude.
He wants to
Would
be
you
a
do
divine
that?
dude.
I mean,
it's done.
You're already there,
it's done,
David.
Doctor.
what else do I want? Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
I actually want you to come on again, okay?
All right.
We'd love to.
We'll be here.
I'm Dr. David Morwood, and this is Your Health radio and television program. We're going to take a very brief pause for a very good cause, and we're coming right back. Thank you.